Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Dr. Ayaz Afsar, and today our topic is getting started. I'll begin with choosing a topic, then I'll move on to discuss how to narrow the topic, and then deciding on the content, and then preparing an outline for your dissertation, and at the end discuss how to organize or structure your material. Let's begin with the first topic, that is choosing a topic. Choosing a topic is the most important aspect of any research. When you choose a topic, you need a certain points to keep in your mind where to get information to choose an appropriate topic for your research. Some of the important areas or subjects or points which can help you to choose an appropriate topic are: first, your core syllabus, what you have been studying, what different modules you have been taught, what assignments you have written, what teachers you have an interaction with. All these can be very useful in choosing your topic. Then the next step could be the lectures. On the course notes you have prepared, the lectures which you attended and you were impressed by their subject area, they could be another source which could be suitable for choosing your topic. Then books or articles you have read. So by reading the books you have interest in, or articles you have been studying, and at the end of an article usually you see there is a scope for further research. Reading the books you come across some of the interesting topics which the writers have discussed, so you can get a clue whether you will be interested in choosing a particular topic from the book, or you can read what other people have written in the form of dissertations. So by browsing other people's work, what other people have submitted their dissertations on different subjects, you can get a clue what the people are doing, what they have accomplished, and what gap may be left. At this stage, I won't go into detail about the gap. It would be just interesting what topics people are usually discuss, what people are taking to work on or research on. So that would be another area where you can find interest and topic for your own research. Then you can discuss with your colleagues, your friends, your teachers. So that discussion may lead towards choosing an appropriate topic for your research. You may have a previous experience. If you have done something that is in form of writing some assignment, some task, some group work, peer work, or some project, or working with other people in different institutions, or as a part of a team, working on some project, that could be another area which can provide you some material for choosing your topic for research. Then other area could be your institution's requirement, or maybe in some cases you are working for some agency, some sponsor, and the sponsor's requirement is to work on that particular area, so that is already decided and you can work on it. Or you can pick up your topic from current affairs or media by which you come across at a TV or maybe in a newspaper. There was some story or some feature article or some column on it, and you developed an interest and in that area, and that could provide you a suitable topic for your research. Well, what are the requirements or interesting features for choosing a topic? A topic is the primary element in your research. If you have a good topic which is practicable, feasible, we have discussed in the last lecture, that would be would keep your interest. So here, let's explore this area further. Let's see what are the features to keep in your mind while deciding, while choosing your topic. Well, there are a number of points which you must keep in your mind when you choose your topic, and they might be helpful in deciding about your topic. The first one and the foremost important is your interest. Look, this topic, if you have interest in it, you will not get bored, and you will continue working on it, because it is an engagement with the topic where you have to work for a long time and you have to sit many hours. If you don't have a real interest in the topic, in the area or in that field, don't take it. So first point to keep in your mind while choosing your topic is your interest. If you have a genuine, real interest in the topic, you should choose, otherwise don't leave it. Why I'm saying this, emphasizing it? Because you have to work for a long time, and if you don't have real interest, you'll get bored and you won't do it. Then you will be delaying it. That leads you procrastination, which we discussed in the last chapter, how to manage your time and research. Second consideration for choosing a topic is the scope of the topic. And by scope of the topic means that whether it is suitable for the level you are doing. For example, you are choosing a topic for your research project as an MA, as part of MA course. So it means that it should be completed within a maximum a year. So if you take a topic which is too broad and which cannot be covered within the time frame, then you need to reconsider it. It may lead you to failure. To be successful and submit in time, there should be scope for. It should be neither too narrow, that should be done within a few weeks maybe, and suitable for a research assignment, or maybe an essay, but not good enough to work for 6 months or maybe a year. So the first criterion is your interest. The second is its scope. That is neither too narrow nor too broad. The third consideration is time. For some topics you need more time than the others. So whether you will be able to get that much time and within the time limit. If it is a PhD research project, your topic should be broad enough because you have to work for a long time, maybe for 3 to 4 years. But if you have to complete your project in 3 to 4 months, its scope should be limited as compared to one for the 4 years project. So time consideration is the third important criterion for selecting or choosing your topic. The fourth consideration or criterion for choosing your topic is the availability of information. So you are working on a project, on a dissertation or a thesis, and if you don't get information in time, and information within your area, then you can't do any research. So you need to make sure that enough material is available in the library or in the internet or in the digital library, or you have access to information. If you have a project, later on we'll discuss, you see, what projects can be in what projects you can get information, and there may be some projects where to get information is not easy. You won't have access to the information required to do research in that area. So the next criterion for choosing your topic is whether the information is available on that topic or not. The fifth consideration or criterion for choosing an appropriate topic for research is the cost, the money you have to spend. Who is going to pay and how much money you will be needed to carry on that project. There are certain projects. Say, I'll give you one example from education, or maybe in English language teaching. If you have a project that you want to use some audio visual aids in developing some of the language skills, you need some kind of sophisticated software and technology and camera and other paraphernalia needed to record and develop appropriate material. For that you need a lot of money. So who is going to pay for that? So it's not enough that you have just an interest in the area. It is also whether you have enough money, or is there any source or person who is going to provide money for that one. You need to decide and consider while you are choosing your topic. The sixth criterion, or the point to consider, is your technical skills. There are certain areas where you need, say, statistical information, statistical skills, and use of some software. Say you are working on corpus linguistics and you don't know what software is used and how the data is analyzed, that would be a problem later on. So when you are choosing a topic, it is another important aspect of it that foresee what type of technical skills you will be needed. If you need technical skills and some transferable skills, have you acquired them, or how long it will take you to acquire them? So what are the criteria we have so far discussed about choosing a topic? That the topic should be one where you have an interest. There should be a scope for the topic. It should be completed within time, stipulated time given for the project. There should be enough information available on the topic, and then its cost, who is going to pay for that project, or how much would be needed for that project, and then your technical skills, whether you'll be needing some technical skills, and you have those technical skills in the case of use of softwares or some technology. Okay, the second last point which I'll discuss today with you should be the value of research. No, it's not that you have just developed an interest in the area. That is not enough. Who is going to benefit from that research? Who else would be interested in it? What people would get from it? So there shouldn't be just research for research's sake. The purpose of research is to enhance the existing knowledge, to resolve a problem, to find a solution to an issue. So if it has some value, and value could be for your department, value for the community, value for the other people in that area, your peers, then that should be a good topic. And if it is valueless, it is meaningless, nobody is going to benefit from it, you shouldn't choose such a topic. And the last point I would discuss should be the sensitivity of topic. There are certain areas or topics which are highly sensitive. And if you do some research, that may be an embarrassment for someone. So maybe embarrassment for your institution, maybe embarrassment for your community if you are a teacher and you are doing some kind of research, or you can think other areas. So while selecting or choosing a topic, you need all these points in your consideration, that that you have an interest, the topic has a scope, that you have enough time to do within the time you will be able to complete it, you will get information on it, there will be not much money, and if there is money involved, who is going to pay for that? You have technical know-how about the research area and type of skills you will be needing, and there should be some value of the research, who is going to benefit. The research will be beneficial for someone, and you shouldn't do research on something which is sensitive and may lead to some kind of embarrassment for some institutions or for some people. I have just found some of the topics for your information. So keeping in view what I have discussed so far, I'll give you a list here. You can see which one of these you think are suitable for research at MA level, or which are unsuitable or not suitable for MA level dissertation or a thesis. I have taken these examples from one field, that is English language teaching, but it doesn't mean that there would be research would be only on these topics. You can think about other areas where this information also applies to. So look, if you are interested, or someone interested, and the topic is the use of the blackboard in English as a foreign language lessons, do you think that it is a good topic for discussion or for doing research on it? The use of the blackboard in EFL lessons. Second, setting up an EFL resource center. EFL stands for English as a foreign language. Third topic is professional misconduct by teachers at secondary school and its effect on EFL teaching, English as a foreign language teaching. Fourth topic is statistical validation of the new secondary English exam. And sixth topic is developing an ESP syllabus. And ESP stands for English for Specific Purposes. Developing an ESP syllabus and teaching testing materials for undergraduates in the Faculty of Science and Technology. Next is plan for a 3-week in-service course to familiarize teachers with the new primary English syllabus. And the last one is developing EFL video materials to supplement the secondary form course book. Right. Look at these and think about each topic. My question is, are these topics suitable for research? And if they are not, why not? What's the problem with them? Keeping in view what we have discussed in the previous discussion, I mean, where we have discussed about your interest and the scope of the topic, and then keeping in view in interest, scope, time, availability of information, cost, technical skills, value of research, and sensitivity of topic. Take number 1. It says the use of the blackboard in EFL lesson. What's the problem with this? I don't think it is suitable for MA level dissertation. The problem here is that it is too narrow. The use of the blackboard in EFL lessons, there could be one lesson, one lecture on it, or maybe some assignment for 1 week, but it's not suitable because scope is narrow and it cannot be expanded, so not suitable for MA level dissertation. Second topic, setting up an EFL resource center. It might be suitable for MA level because it needs a number of points to be clarified before a center is established. A resource center means establishing a place where appropriate material for the development of skills, especially teaching English, should be provided in the form of listening, speaking material, or audio-visual aids, or different types of lessons, books, videos, cassettes, audio cassettes, reading books. Okay, that could be possible to do research at an MA level. What about the topic professional misconduct by teachers at secondary school and its effect on EFL teaching? Look, it is one topic which can be discussed under sensitivity. So it might not be suitable because professional misconduct by teachers at secondary school and its effect on EFL teaching. Why it's not suitable? Because first of all, it is sensitive. Second, you might, as a student, you might not be able to get the information you need for this topic. Who will provide you? The teachers, admin, no one. So it is difficult, hard to find information, so not suitable for doing research at MA level. What about statistical validation of the new secondary English exam? Statistical validation of the new secondary English exam. Well, it might be a good topic, but the problem with this one is that you need some kind of technical know-how about the statistical validation. So if you have those skills and you are good in statistical information or analysis, that might be a good topic. Developing an ESP syllabus and teaching testing materials for undergraduates in the Faculty of Science. Developing an ESP syllabus and teaching testing materials for undergraduates in the Faculty of Science and Technology. It could also be a good topic, but its scope and timing could be problematic. You have to develop syllabus, and you have also developed teaching and testing material. So that could also be possible topic. Plan for a 3-week in-service course to familiarize teachers with the new primary English syllabus. A narrow topic, but it can be developed into a dissertation. A topic is suitable. And the last I'll discuss developing EFL video, English as a foreign language video materials, to supplement the secondary Form 1 course book. So in this case, the topic might be suitable, but again it needs some technical knowledge as well as money, developing EFL video. So you need a technical knowledge about making videos, or you are going to take the assistance of other people, and you have to procure equipment necessary for recording material. So all these are the considerations that it could be costly, and if you are ready for that purpose, that might be suitable. But when you are choosing a topic for your research, and that is the primary or the first step in your research, you must consider such things before you make final decision, and you must be aware of what you will be doing or you will be needing. Well, at this point, at this stage in your research, when you are looking for an appropriate topic for your research, you have a very vague idea. It also needs some time to mature, and you need further discussion with your colleagues and your teachers to refine the idea, the exact topic. So the next step in our lecture would be, in our discussion would be how to narrow the topic. Let's look at one of the topics. Say you have this topic in your mind, a broader topic, the English language needs of trainees at any institute. It could be ABC Institute. Proposal for a course design. So I say again, the English language needs of trainees at some college, ABC Institute or a school. Proposals for a course design. If it is your topic, what do you think about it? Is it good enough? Good enough means neither too narrow nor too broad to work on it. Okay, you can slightly modify it and rephrase it, the design and implementation of a language improvement program for trainee EFL teachers at any XYZ college. You can make another topic, something to analyze the English language needs of training pilots at any airbase and put forward a proposed course design. It's a kind of ESP, English for specific purposes, that English for pilots, English for lawyers, English for doctors, English for nurses. You would come across something like that. That is called English for specific purposes. To investigate how language, another topic, to investigate how language improvement for trainee EFL teachers is currently dealt with at any XYZ college, to design a syllabus for this course and to suggest ways of integrating it with the existing curriculum. Well, at this point, I would like to draw your attention towards 2 points. First is the title. That your title should be in the form of a noun phrase, not a complete sentence. If you look at the first one here, it says the English language needs of trainees at ABC Institute, proposals for a course design. So it is just a noun phrase. There is no verb here. So that is a good title. are the design and implementation of a language improvement program for trainee EFL teachers at any XYZ college. Again, this is a noun phrase. When you have a title, the next step or stage is to develop it into a kind of statement, which is called a thesis statement. And thesis statement usually begins with to infinitive. Okay? As the title begins, title should be in the form of a just a noun phrase, no verb in it, and not a sentence. Thesis statement should be longer than the title, and it should be in the form of its structure or form would be that it will begin with to infinitive, and to infinitive means that it begins with the to and first form of the verb. So look at this. It says to analyze the language, to analyze the English language needs of training pilots at ABC Air Base and put forward a proposed course design. It is a thesis statement. And you can further elaborate this to investigate how language improvement for trainee EFL teachers is currently dealt with at XYZ college, to design a syllabus for this course, and to suggest ways of integrating it within the existing curriculum. So, what are different stages? First stage is thinking about the topic, second, writing a title, and then the third, developing that title into a thesis statement. A thesis statement is, again, very important part of any research design or dissertation, because it exactly tells you what you will be interested in, what will you be doing, and what will you be recommending or suggesting. So it should be in the form of a statement, and it should begin, if you look at its form, as I said, it should begin with to infinitive, begin with to and first form of the verb. Well, when students come to discuss their topics with their supervisors or teachers who are going to guide them, they have a number of problems. They have a vague idea, but they don't, the vague idea in a sense that is very broad area on which many theses or dissertation can be written. So what we suggest as teachers or supervisors to our students, that you need to narrow down. And how it is done, I have developed an activity here, and if you look at how there is an X, Y. X is any student and Y is supervisor or a teacher, and how do they narrow down the topic. Here the student has come to the supervisor that he wants to work on mixed ability classes. So how it develops, let's have a look. X, and X is the student and Y is the supervisor. I think I'd like to do something on mixed ability. That's rather wide, isn't it? Are you interested in streaming and setting, or how mixed ability affects students' learning, or what exactly you mean, student? Well, I suppose really I'd like to find out what approaches teachers use when they are dealing with mixed ability classes, what their teaching techniques are. Teacher, you mean in EFL, I suppose? Not maths or history or something? Student, yes, EFL classes. Teacher, and what type of institution, primary, secondary, tertiary? Student, yes, secondary schools in my own province or country. Student, well, teacher, well, how are you going to get the information about the teacher's approaches? How will you get that information? Student, I am planning to send out a questionnaire for the teachers and maybe for the students as well. Teacher, but you can't cover all the secondary school in any country, certainly. Student, no, I'll have to limit it, of course, but I can get people in my own school to do the questionnaires, and probably 1 or 2 other schools in, say, in Islamabad, that is the town where I live. Teacher, I see. But what's the purpose of this research? What do you think you will come out of your research? Student, well, about 5 years ago, the Ministry of Education put out some recommendations about mixed ability in English classes, but I don't think people are really following those recommendations. I want to find out if this is true, and if so, what we ought to do about it. Well, look, you see, it's basically a conversation, a dialogue between a supervisor and a supervisee. And you see how it developed with a vague idea, general idea like mixed ability, and how with the discussion with the supervisor, the student or the supervisee has narrowed down and come up with working in a limited area within the mixed ability, and maybe considering English language classes and what the ministry has suggested and whether that is being implemented in a local area or not, or maybe 1 school or 2 schools or not. So this is the way when the students come, they have a vague idea, and how that vague idea is developed and narrowed down to something which could be manageable and could be done within a time. So when you have narrowed down your area, the next step is how are you going to decide on the content of your dissertation. Look, you started with the title, first with the topic, then you with the title and with the thesis statement, and narrowing down, and then you are going to decide what are you going to include, what content will you include in your dissertation. I will draw your attention here again to a particular topic we have started with. It's not necessarily that all research will be conducted in the form of English language teaching. There are many areas. I'm just giving you one example, and if we continue with that example, it would be easier for me and for you to understand it. Say our topic is SAM, that is a mixed ability class. A mixed ability class is a class in which students have different skills. Some are good, some are fairly good, some are excellent, and maybe some others who are very poor. But a teacher has to teach all and take them to the exam, and they all have to pass. So if you have started working on mixed ability classes, let's see what would be the content you need to include in your dissertation. And the content will be decided by analyzing what are the key words in your title. So if you look at the title which we discuss here, to investigate how language, the title was the design and implementation of a language improvement program, and then we narrowed down and we came up with a thesis statement that was to investigate how language improvement for trainee EFL teachers is currently dealt with a college and to design a syllabus for this course and suggest ways of integrating it with the existing curriculum. And then I gave you example of a student who was interested in doing research on mixed ability classes, and at the end he came up with some of the recommendations made by the ministry and whether they are appropriately followed in a particular school or not. So if you have this topic in your mind, what should be the content? Well, the content, as I said, would be based on the keywords in your research statement or the title. So in this case, what are those key elements? That is the approaches to teaching. There are different ways of teaching, or different methods of teaching. Then keywords are mixed ability. You have to define what do you understand by mixed ability, and what the literature says and what other people have said about mixed ability. Then you have to define what are EFL classes, English for Language class. And there may be many issues whether English is taught as a second language or as a foreign language and such issues. Then what is the requirement of, what are the aims and objectives of teaching at secondary schools? What level of English is expected there? Then you have to limit it, because you have narrowed down that you are working in a particular area here, say in case you are working in Islamabad schools, and then you would have to include something about the policy, because it mentions that the Ministry of Education gave a policy, and whether that is followed or not, that is another keyword here. And then maybe a practice. What are the current practices? How they are taught? What teachers are doing to handle such problems when they arise in mixed ability classes? So all these, which are the key words in your area, you need to work on it. Okay, that should be part of your the contents of your thesis. Now let's take them one by one. Say we are talking about policy. What you can do? Here I would like to say that you need to brainstorm or make a kind of a mind map. And I have given one example from the content. Say it was policy. And if it is a policy, how you brainstorm and make a mind map. One example I have taken here. You write the topic in the center, say it is a policy, and what comes to your mind, you just draw a line and write it. Keep in your mind that our brain doesn't think in a linear, in a logical way. The brain thinks in different ways, where ideas don't come, you see, in a sequence. In whatever they come, you just draw lines, and you draw further lines if there is a subheading or sub-idea associated with comes to your mind. So if we are talking about the government or the Ministry of Education policy, so that is the key word, and see what are the aims of this one. And maybe what is the development of the policy, how it has developed, its historical background. For example, English in subcontinent started with within colonial period, where the British ruled. Yeah? So it has historical roots in the colonial era. And then how it developed from colonial to the post-independent scenario, and how the change of medium occurred, you see, Urdu medium schools and English medium schools and other, that debate, and then the development of new curriculum. You can think about its implementation of the policy, how the policy could be implemented. I mean, first there would be the guidelines for the policy, Then there will be some materials produced in light of those guidelines. And then there would be inset. Inset stands for in-service training. The teachers are given appropriate training how to teach in those circumstances or scenarios. And then you have a system of inspectors. That inspectors go and check the teachers in their classrooms whether they are teaching according to those guidelines, policy, the ministry policy, and whether they are using the appropriate materials, whether they have received appropriate training, and now they are importing that knowledge, keeping in view that policy. So that is related with implementation. Or you can take another branch of policy, that could be policy making structure. So how the policy is made. And you have a ministry as a broader term, and under the ministry you have a curriculum development wing which produces different types of courses and syllabi. You can look at another point which comes related with the policy, the recommendations. So recommendations could be remedial teaching classes, remedial classes for the students, or some training for the teachers if they are not well trained, or there is some monitoring, proper monitoring system on the level of inspectors. So I will have to see some of the blanks over here where you can fill in yourself. While you are making a plan like that, you are brainstorming, thinking about the keyword and its headings and subheadings, there will be certain ideas which need to be filled up later on. So that's not a problem. As I said, that our brain doesn't think in a sequence, in a linear order. It thinks randomly, and those ideas should be jotted down, and then they will be rebranched and reclassified under one heading, or heading and its subheadings if they are related ideas. So at this stage I would like you to do the similar type of mind maps for other keywords used here. What will you write in mixability, for example? So draw the mixability in the center and then develop a mind map through brainstorming. Or take another word like practice. What are the practices? Practices mean how teachers handle those mixability classes. Okay. When you have decided about that, you started with the title, with the topic, the title, a thesis statement, through the process of narrowing down and developing the mind maps on the keywords. Then you need to put all that in the form of an outline for your dissertation. Say we have analyzed those ideas at the content stage, that we have decided this will be the content we will be dealing with for the dissertation. Then we can develop a title like this, a comprehensive title. Approaches to teaching mixed ability EFL classes in secondary schools in Islamabad, policy and practice. Look, what are those keywords again? Approaches to teaching, mixed ability, EFL class, secondary schools, Islamabad, policy and practice. So all these keywords now incorporated in the title. And when you are preparing an outline, you need to break them down. That about these ideas there will be chapters. So an outline, there could be any, but a suggestive one would be something like this. EFL teaching in Pakistan is the topic, and it's subheading the role of English in the secondary school system. So the outline of the school system, aims for English, length of course, brief description of syllabus and exams will be discussed in this section. Okay, and you can move on to then EFL classes, and what is the classroom environment? How many students are there? What facilities are available? How many students there? And how they are taught in those classes, whether large classes or small classes. Then take another approach is to mixed ability teaching. So there would be a general review of the literature, and here general review means you have to look at the textbooks which are written on mixed ability classes. There would be certain journals, periodicals written on the topic. You have to browse through that and come up with the appropriate material to include in your content. Then you need a ministry policy on mixed ability teaching. So that is how the policy was developed, and that would be general historical background, change of medium, reason for increasing mixed classes would be included in this section. And then it comes, you see, aims and recommendations. What were the aims of the ministry defined in that policy? What are their recommendations, and how, what they have suggested, how it would be implementation. So the guidelines to schools, provisions of materials, in-set courses, as I said, in-set is in-service training courses for the teachers, what provision have been laid down in the policy document. Then mixed ability teaching in secondary schools in Islamabad. So you begin with its introduction, means aims of the survey, brief description of Islamabad and the schools used, how many altogether, and how many schools you selected, number of questionnaires distributed in those schools, and how many you were returned or you received back. Then through analyzing the questionnaires, you have to develop teachers' perceptions of mixed ability teaching, such as what do they see as the problem or advantage. There might be some teachers who think that mixed ability is a problem. It's hard for them to teach. But there might be some other teachers who might think that it is a very good thing, yeah, for language purposes. And different ability students are used in a way basically to enhance their understanding or practice of the language, and they are not a hurdle. So do they agree with the policy? Do the teachers agree with the government policy? Or did they have any inset on this topic, on mixed ability classes? Have they got any training? So teaching techniques for dealing with mixed ability would be another topic. And there would be a separate subsection for each main technique for the practice, the teachers' practice in classrooms. And then there would be a conclusion which sums up the main points from the survey of the questionnaire. So when you have done, you need to work on you have to decide on the organization of the dissertation. What will be the structure of the content? How will you present material, organize material in your dissertation? Well, there are different ways people organize the paragraphs and text. One way to organize the material information you have gathered is by putting them in order of time. What happened first would be written or said first, and what happened after that would come what happened first. So it would be a sequential or chronological order. that is not the only order texts are organized, or your thesis should be organized, or in different chapters organized. The second method of organization, which is very popular with people use, that is the order of importance. What is most important will be mentioned first, and what is least important will be mentioned last. The third way of organizing material is, that is in order of frequency. What comes most frequently will be given the priority, will be mentioned first, and what comes less frequently or least frequently would be the last. So there would be an order of time, that is a chronological order, then an order of importance, and then the order of frequency. Another way of organizing the text or your content material is by looking at the cause and effect relationships, discussing causes and their effects. The text could be organized on the problem and solution, mention problem and its solution, and it goes on. Organize the text from a general to specific. General statements in the beginning, moving gradually towards the specific. It could be generalization and examples. There will be general statement and its illustration through the examples. The content can be organized by discussing the theoretical aspect and its practical aspects. So if you have got this idea, this information or content information from the teachers, from notebooks, from textbooks, from lectures, you can order them at different levels, keeping in view all of these or some of these in your dissertation. So there will be a chronological order, the order of importance, order of frequency. How will you determine order of frequency? By order of frequency, you distributed a questionnaire. Okay? So your questionnaire, when you receive back, you analyze it, and you see how many students were in favor of the policy and how many were against it. So it would be order of frequency. The more people said that would be written first, mentioned first, and fewer after that. Okay, that is one way of deciding about how you are going to organize information material and present in your thesis. So here I have developed an activity for you, and you have to read this and think about what type of organization or structure you think would be suitable in this case. If it is development of ministry policy on mixed ability teaching, development of ministry policy on mixed ability teaching, if that is your topic, how will you organize it? What sequence you think would be appropriate here? It's a development of ministry policy, so it seems to be a chronological order, historical development. So what was the first policy and the second policy and how it was improved? If the topic is teaching techniques for dealing with mixed ability teaching, teaching techniques for dealing with mixed ability teaching, what are the teaching techniques? And you have got this information through the survey by distributing your questionnaire and analyzing the questionnaire. What do you think? What type of sequence or organization you will use here? As I mentioned, that would be because it is through the responses of the teachers, so it would be a good idea that if you use here the order of frequency. How many teachers said what techniques they use most often, and what techniques fewer teachers use. That information you can get only through the questionnaire from the survey. Discussion of how mixed ability classes can lead to poor results. If this is your topic, discussion of how mixed ability classes can lead to poor results. What do you think? What type of organizing or structure would be appropriate for this type of content? Yeah, I think you are right. If you have said that there is a relation of cause and effect relationship, so text will be organized in the pattern of causes and effect, of cause and effect relationship. And what is cause and effect? Discussion of how mixed ability classes, he said that is the cause to lead poor results. Mixed ability and poor results. So cause and effect relation will be the appropriate way to deal with this. Well, when you have got this information, you have analyzed and made an outline and fill your outline. So the next step comes, you see, how to organize your thesis, the whole thesis. Well, it should be organized something like this, that it should begin with the title, and there should be the first chapter, and within the first chapter there would be a first subtopic, and there should be a second subtopic. And if there is another idea that is part of second subtopic, that will be the subtopic. I have put it in this way, that will be the first aspect, and then it will be the second aspect. So how you are organizing your chapters in your dissertation? That you would have a first subtopic, you have a second subtopic, and if there are further topics within that, there will be the subtopics. In second chapter, you have a first subtopic, and you can say first aspect, and the second aspect, and the third aspect, and the fourth aspect. In second subtopic, you'll say the first aspect, and then the second aspect, okay? And this way, you organize your chapters. And in some cases, you'll see that these headings, subheadings, and sub-subheadings are also given some numbering. Say heading number 1, that would be 1. And within that heading there is a subheading that would be 1.1. And within that, if there is a category that is part of it has different aspects, so it will be 1.1.1. So the question arises, how many subheadings can you use in your dissertation? Well, there shouldn't be more than 3. I mean, 3 is ideal, maximum 4, not more than that. And in some cases, people use some other way of organizing the material. For example, it may begin with A, and within A it would be 1, that would be Arabic number, or maybe that would be the Roman letters 1, 2, and 3. And again you can go with the small letter A, B, C. So there are different ways of organizing the chapters, and you must be clear and consistent in using those. Most fashionable nowadays is the numbers instead of using letters A, B, C, or Roman or whatever. So it's better you use, you see, number. It is a heading, it is number 1, and it has a different font, bigger font, and it is towards the left, 1 tab to the left, And if it is a subheading, so it would be again further one tab to the right. Not the left, it would be towards the right. So it would be 1 is towards the right, 1.1 one tab to the right, and 1.1.1 will be further one tab to the right. And their font and their font size should also be different, not only the space but the font. Slightly different, bigger font for the first heading and smaller font for the second or subheading. So that was about getting started, making an outline and reducing your broad ideas, general ideas in the form of a title and a thesis statement. So at the end there would be summary of what we have discussed today, and that is we started with you think of a possible topics and check whether they meet the criterion we set in the beginning. That the topic should be of your interest, the topic should have a scope, neither too narrow nor too broad. The topic should be completed within the time frame. If it is MA dissertation, maximum 1 year. Then there should be an availability of information, whether sufficient information available. You won't have to go out and dig and you won't find information. Information is in a place where you don't have an access, and you have to think about the cost. How much money would be required and who is going for that. And you need the technical skills for that topic. What type of technical skills? Maybe it's some softwares or word processing or statistical analysis would be required, and you do have those skills. And what would the value of research? That was important. That research is not for research's sake. There should be some aspect that it is beneficial for the community at large, or it is beneficial for the students. It is beneficial for other researchers, not just interest for the researcher. And then we discussed that there should be the sensitivity of the topic that should be kept into mind. That certain topics are sensitive, and by doing research on those could lead to embarrassment of some institutions or your own community. Okay, so avoid doing research on sensitive topic. So that's it for today, and I hope that you would have got an idea of how to start your dissertation, where to begin, how to choose your topic, and how to develop an outline on it, how to do some brainstorm on it and generate ideas, and then all those ideas put into a proper structure, outline and organization. If you want to study more on this area, 2 books are very important, and this lecture is basically based on these 2 books. They have the updated, I'm sorry that I have put some old reference here, say Judith Bell, it's even 5th edition is now available in the market. Its title is Doing Your Research Project, and the second is Keen, and that is again Doing Your Own Research. These are basic books, and these are for the first-time researchers. So try to get hold of them. They are the best for the first-time researchers. They are written in a very simple language, not in a complicated language. Any book could help you on these areas, But why I have chosen these? Because they are for the people who just begin their research and written in simple English. That's it. Thank you very much for listening.